Well, we are reading a rags to riches story, that is, a poor man becoming a billionaire, a rich, or the world's second wealthiest man in 2007, that is, none but Dhirubai Ambani, who started his career from selling Bhajias and rose to the level of founding Reliance Industries Limited, a multinational company that traded uh, in the fields of gas, oil, petrochemicals, textiles, retail business, and telecommunication. Fine, that's what we learned in the previous session. Let's continue to learn what else he accomplished. So, after establishing Reliance, he traded more in the field of fabrics, that is, cloth, textile industry. He introduced a brand named Vimal Textiles and Fabrics. That was the first brand of Ambani, which was introduced in 1969. I think even now this has some name. It has retained its name, Vimal, the brand Vimal in textile industry. So this industry uh, saw the success, and in 1975 a team of technical experts from World Bank visited Ambani's textile manufacturing centers. So this was a great feat, that a team of technical experts from World Bank visited Ambani's textile manufacturing centers, and they rated the textile industry of Dhirubai Ambani with good scores. They certified the centers by its standards. They said, yes, the quality and standards of this industry is very good. And with this certification of World Bank team, Ambani's as well as Reliance's reputation grew. And then uh, the IPO and Dhirubai Ambani's rise from rags to riches. I've already talked about it in the previous session, that he made some policies to generate money for his investments. So he took this uh, means of initial public offering. Now, he approached many banks which denied him large amount of loan. Therefore, he went into the public and he took the company public, and through public that he raised more money. So once he introduced this idea, there were 58,000 investors. People believed in his success and in the success of Reliance industry. Therefore, 58,000 people invested in Reliance. So with this activity, Indian stock market witnessed major activity. And by 1980s, in the 1980s, Reliance became market's favorite. And by the end of 1980s, Reliance had the largest number of shareholders in the world. Imagine, just from introducing the IPO into the public, he rose to the level of making Reliance that had the largest number of shareholders in the world. So, with this, Ambani grew from rags to riches. So, look at some more milestones in the history of Reliance. Reliance was the first Indian company to raise money in global markets. So, Reliance did not earn money only in Indian markets, rather, it earned money even in global markets. So, he is one among those businessmen who brought India the fame and value of India in global markets. From selling bhajis, remember his past, from selling bhajis, to the center stage of the world's business, Dhirubai Ambani grave. And by the end of 2012, it had over 85,000 employees. And Reliance also accounted for 5% of India's central government total tax revenue. If you have the idea of central government tax and how central government has different areas for their revenue, you can understand accounting for 5% of the total tax revenue of India's central government is a big consideration. At the same time, Reliance saw more success. It was the first Indian company to be listed in Fortune 500 list. This is how Ambani rose to the level of second wealthiest man in the world. But there are other parts of sides of this story also. Ambani was alleged that he evaded tax and cheated the government. But he answered all his critics, saying that there is some provision in the law that allows him not to pay tax to the central government. So that's how he defended himself. And in 1986, unfortunately, he suffered a heart attack. Therefore, a little later, he handed over the Reliance Industries Limited to his sons, namely Mukesh and Anil Ambani. So, with this, now we learn a success story. On the death of Dhirubai Ambani, Atal Bihari Vajpayee praised him. He said, the country has lost an iconic proof, an iconic businessman, an entrepreneur. And later, after his death, there was split in Reliance Industries Limited. You can see in the picture, in the middle this is Dhirubai Ambani, left is to your left is Mukesh, and to your right is Anil Ambani. They divided Reliance into two. Reliance Industries Limited was taken up by Mukesh Ambani, and Reliance Anil Dhirubai Ambani. So with this name, Anil Ambani took up the business. So for his accomplishments, Dhirubai Ambani received several awards, including the Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry with Indian Entrepreneur of the Century, then a medal in 1998 by the Wharton School, University of Pennsylvania. And he was also considered as one of the most powerful and influential people in Asia. He was awarded the Padma Vibhushan, the second highest civilian award in 2016 by Government of India. Remember what he inspired people with his words. He said, think big, think fast, think ahead. Ideas are no one's monopoly. Ideas are not any one person's asset, but if you can think big, think fast and think ahead, certainly you can become a successful man, successful person. So this is in recap. Dhirubai Ambani launched his textile brand Vimal in 1969, certified by World Bank. Then he went into initial public offering. With that he raised money for the RIL. By the end of 1980s, Reliance had the largest number of shareholders in the world, and Ambani grew from rags to riches. Textile Unit and RIL were Reliance Industries Limited were founded in 1966. Due to ill health, he handed over his business empire to his two sons Mukesh and Anil. And for his feats, he has received several awards including Padma Vibhushan from Government of India. I am sure this success story has inspired you. This story also inspired Mani Ratnam, if I am right. He made a movie based on Dhirubai Ambani with the title Guru in Hindi, in which Aishwarya Rai and Abhishek Bachchan are in lead role. So in some other session, let us get to watch that movie. Thank you all.